Hello, today I thought I would show you how I use Garmin VIRB Edit to make overlays on my kayaking videos. To start off, we're going to start with a copy of VIRB Edit that has never been used before. I'm going to make a new video, and then I'm going to import some blue screen video that I've made ahead of time. I'll have the commands how to make these blue screen videos in the show notes. For this demo, I am choosing a 1080p 60 frame per second blue screen because that matches my current camera settings. Note I use import only here because that's much faster than doing a second copy. I now drag the blue screen video onto the video timeline. This is as good a time as any to make sure I'm in the right units, whether metric or imperial. The Garmin icon on the top right of my screen indicates that my Forerunner is in the charging cradle and the computer has recognized it. I'm now ready to import data. Click the Data button or the Data tab and then Import Geometrics. Make sure the Garmin is selected and then select the appropriate log from the list. The list doesn't give you an indication of the date of each of these items, so you're going to have to recognize them by the map. I find it useful to trim out my activity history at frequent intervals to keep this list short. As well as the map, the Also Contains list is a good indicator that you're on the right log. At this point, you have to synchronize the video with the log for reasons I don't quite understand. I just drag the sliders out away from the start and back to the start on both of them and then click Done, and that seems to do the job. Because we are starting from scratch here, we will now create a template that we can use for this video and all subsequent videos. Because I want to start from scratch, I select the None template so I don't have the gauges from the default template. I then select the Gauges tab. There are a lot of gauges to scroll through, so I use the Type drop-down to narrow it down to one particular type of gauge. The track gauges here all look exactly the same, but they are actually different sizes. Experiment to find the one you want. Drag it onto the blue screen video and position it where you will want it. Now I want a distance marker underneath the track so I know where I am approximately in the race. Next, I find a duration marker to position on the blue screen video the same way. The thing I'm most interested in my own videos is my heart rate, so I find a heart rate gauge to put on the video. And lastly, I want my speed on the video, and so I try and find a gauge that looks the same as the heart rate video under the recorded speed. You might have noticed there were gauge types for recorded 3D speed, calculated 2D speed, and calculated 3D speed. I have not experimented with those to see what they do. Now that I have my gauges placed, I will save this as a template so I can reuse the same gauge placement next time. When you hover over an existing template, a pop-up tells you what gauges are in it. If you scrub your cursor back and forth along the timeline, you can see the gauges change, indicating the recorded data. At this point, I export the data so that I can import it later into Final Cut Pro or iMovie. I check the resolution is the same as what I wanted, and I get rid of the branding because I don't want it. Exporting can take several hours, and so it's good to get this out of the way while you do other things in your video. In my next video, I'll show you what I do with the exported video in Final Cut Pro. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.